What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Marriage Lab. Got another one for you today. Funny enough, I'm having some sinus issues, post-nasal drip, and things of the such, and this actually relates to it. So, my husband's snoring is ruining my life. Even with earplugs, the fan on, and white noise, he's waking me up 2 to 3 times a night. This has been happening for years. It was so bad that I would take sleeping pills. Well, unfortunately, that led to an addiction, and I am 90 days sober. Congratulations. No, seriously, congratulations. Um, I'll say I know someone who used to do that. I don't know if they still do, but yeah, if you have to take sleeping pills every night just to sleep, yeah. So of course I'm a light sleeper and his snoring is pissing me off. Every night I have to go to the guest room and then can't fall asleep for hours afterwards. I have repeatedly told him that he needs to get a sleep study. He refuses. He's honestly lazy. I'm so over it. I'm starting to resent him. I don't know what to do. So let's go back a couple real quick. I'm starting to resent him. He refuses. He's honestly lazy. Publicly shaming your husband, publicly shaming your wife, your spouse, is just not a good idea. Um, Even though, like, these are like anonymous, quote unquote, just it's not really a good idea to shame people. But we're gonna leave that at that. So I'm gonna talk about this from a personal standpoint. I snore. I started snoring, I want to say, shortly after I got back from Afghanistan. If you've been to Afghanistan, you know. If you know anything about Afghanistan, then you know they burned a lot of stuff. There was no sewage systems, so all the waste had to be burned. Basically poured into a giant pond. We call it the poo pond of diesel fuel and a bunch of other crap, literally, and then they burned it. So consequences of that, plus the particulates in the air, just being out there in that kind of desert area. I started snoring, started having a lot of sinus issues, and I really didn't pay attention to it. Being young, it is what it is. And so, time went on, and eventually, when we got our first house, I guess it started to get worse. I did deploy again. I actually went to Kuwait, Camp Arab John, and it may have gotten worse after that. I'm not really sure. I'd have to ask my wife. But all in all, I snore, so I understand. I waited a long time, and part of the reason I waited so long was not out of laziness. It was kind of out of ignorance and fear. And I'll explain the two. Ignorance meaning I just didn't know. I didn't know how it could affect me. And because I was young, I didn't really feel it. So when I would wake up at, 4:30 in the morning, and I'm like, man, I'm still kind of tired, but it's okay. This is time for me to get up, go work out, do what I need to do. It was just something that I had done, and it was just a part of my routine. So I really didn't pay attention to it. But eventually it did start to catch up to me. I really started to feel the effects of not being able to sleep, especially working for the fire department. We did 24 on, 48 off, and then not sleeping those 24 hours, or part of those 24 hours, sucked too. And then I also heard someone say something about snoring, while I was at the fire station. So all of that culminated into us finally moving, and then finally addressing a lot of my issues from my deployments in general, and the health issues that I was experiencing with the sleep apnea. Got a sleep study. Everything's good now. I have a CPAP. I don't snore. Obviously I have the CPAP, right? I only have the nasal one. I don't actually have the full facial one. But I would say my advice for your husband is maybe, and again, and let me say this is just advice. This isn't medical advice. This isn't professional advice. This is just my advice on maybe a way to approach men when they aren't listening. Is don't approach in a, I hate the fact that you snore and you won't do anything about it, go do something. Don't approach it that way. you wouldn't like to be approached that way. So you shouldn't approach other people that way. What you should do is maybe sit down with him, tell him that you're concerned, maybe even record him sleeping so he can hear how it sounds. You know, tell him that you're concerned about his health, and these are the things that could happen if you continue to let the snoring and the sleep apnea progress. And then say, you know, you're not trying to force him to do anything. You're just telling him because you love him and you're concerned, and maybe you should go talk to your doctor about it. And then just leave it at that. Just leave it at that. Because realistically, he's probably not going to decide off of what you say just yet. He's going to take some time and he's going to think about it. And after he thinks about it, he's probably going to do it. If he doesn't, hey, I don't know. But I think if you genuinely show him love, affection, and respect, that he's more apt to listen to what you have to say instead of just, you know, blowing you off or whatever. But again, that's just from a guy on the internet who's like a friend type of advice. Like I said, my wife told me, and eventually, you know, I went and got it done once I started addressing a lot of my health issues. I don't want to be 40 years old and I can't, you know, walk, and I'm not getting a lot of sleep and I can't function. I don't want to be that guy. So yeah, maybe approach it in that way. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new. I'm going to be doing more of these. I enjoy this content. My wife actually said she enjoys it. But yeah, take care. God bless. Peace.